Hi everyone, welcome to your next tutorial on Autocad. Today we're going to learn a few things based on the questions you were asking in last week's tutorial session on Tuesday. We'll run through a couple of those. I'll put into the link the time at which the questions come up on the video so that you can jump straight to them if you want to hear answers to specific questions. Other than that, should be good. Please come along to Tuesday or Thursday's tutorial. We'll let you know via Blackboard, and we'll keep up these video tutorials to help you get through some of the tricky things in AutoCAD and Photoshop. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to email myself or Shane. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're looking at today was a question about how to zoom to your extents, or how to zoom in different ways. So you'll notice if you press Z space, down the bottom, if you read down here, it gives you a bunch of options. So you can go all, center, dynamic, extents, previous, scale, window, and object. And the common one for us is extents, which is just E space. And that will take us all the way out to all of our drawings. So a big one for use for that is when sometimes you might be really far zoomed into something when you're drawing an architectural detail, and it's hard to get your head around back to where you are. So instead of spending your lifetime scrolling, you just press Z space, E space, and now we're back out to the whole drawing, and we can just zoom to where we want to be. Another good one for zoom is zoom window, which is Z space, W space, and I want to check out an architectural detail, which is just here, so I make a little window, and then it zooms into just that area. Nice and clean, nice and easy. Great. Okay, so the next question was about the drawing raster opacity. So you can see in the background this drawing that I'm working on at the moment is nice and dark and grey so that I can see my lines over the top of it while I'm working. Because otherwise it might become really hard to work with. So when I've got the drawing selected, so I come over to the edge of the drawing and select it, I can come up to the top left here and I can see the fade is at 85%. So if I put this back to 0, how it would have come in when it started, it's really quite stark and hard to see where I'm drawing and hard to know where my lines are going. So I like to go back over to fade, change it to about 85% of its original opacity, and then it's nice and grey. And then obviously if I click in my scroll wheel button and use the pan tool, it shows me only my drawing and gets rid of the raster behind. So that's another nice way to preview your drawing and figure out what's going on. So that is your fade tool. Okay, so the next question is about how to see how thick your line weights are. So, for example, if we have a look at this line here, and I change its line weight from its original setting to 0.5, we see that it goes really, really thick. And if I change this one here to 0.4, that's going really thick as well. So I can see the thicknesses of the lines. And the way that I've done that is if I come down to the bottom and click this little crosshair section that says Show Hide Line Weight. So at the moment it's hidden and everything looks the same. But if I toggle it on, it shows me what my thick line weights are. Now, that's great, but if I come to my layout, I'll be able to see that those lines are way too thick now on my sheet and they're starting to look a little bit ridiculous. So it's always just a matter of checking on your layout sheet and PDFing to see your exported drawings and see how good your line weights are. So if we go back to here, change these back to by layer, great. Okay, so now we're going to export our drawing just to see what our line weights are looking like and see whether we're happy with them. So let's go to our layout space. Everything's set up nicely on the page and we're happy with it, ready to go. And we could press Control P, Command P, which is to plot. Okay, so I've got my drawing set up already. It's 420 by 297, that's my A3 sheet, and it's landscape. Now if I wanted to change that, I could just come into the custom properties of PDF, change my layout, and flip it to portrait or landscape, rotated landscape, whatever you need it to be, and press OK. Always want to be working at 1:1 scale when you're plotting. Now you might have already been through this with Shane, but for those people who don't know, 1-to-1 drawing line weights, and we'll change the scale on the actual drawing itself. So always want to be plotting at 1-to-1. Now when it comes to your line weights, a lot of the time AutoCAD will either have it on none or AutoCAD, the standard type, and that'll print out your line weights in the colours that they have assigned to them. So in architecture in general, we use monochrome, and that will turn all of your colours to just black, and then it'll keep the line weight thicknesses to black, which is what you want. Now Shane, I believe in the workbook, has noted that you can change your line weights by colour, and so this is how you would do that. So next to the monochrome tab is a little button here. You click on that, it'll bring up this view of colours, and then you can change the line weights based on those colours down here, etc, etc, and you can do that colour by colour. But I like to have mine already set up in my layers so that they're all done by the time I'm finished my drawing. Okay, so now this is all set, we can preview it and have a look at what it's going to look like. Now, I'm pretty happy with that. I've got some nice thicknesses on my cut-through walls, and these are structural walls, so these need to be nice and thick. I can see my mullions in my glazing wall, but my glazing is nice and thin with some dashed lines. Furniture is to the background, and important things are to the front. So there's a good level in this drawing. Now you might say some of these lines are too thick, but I think once you actually PDF it and have a look at it digitally in the next screen, you'll find that they come out a little different. So let's have a quick look at that. Here's one I prepared earlier. So still pretty thick. But then once again, take it to Photoshop, do your editing and add some colours to it, for example, and you'll find that it does actually thin out a little bit. So this is the final product, an example of what's going on here. So this is for a client, that's why we've got the funny colours on there. But there, you can see the line weights are working nicely. We've got the furniture is sitting in the background, the walls are coming to the front, and then other important things like cabinetry and fixed furnishings are in the middle. Happy days. So just to reiterate, back in AutoCAD, when we want to plot, we press Control P or Command P. We have our settings at scale 1-to-1, monochrome, and we press preview to see what it's like, and when we're happy with it we press OK, and that'll print it to PDF, and then we can open up the PDF and make sure all the line weights are working fine. Now when it comes to making sure that your page is scaled right to your layout space, you can click on the right edge or highlight the edge of your drawing window and come down to the bottom here, and it will show you your viewport scale. So I like to have this set at 1:200 A3 for what we're drawing at the moment, which seems to work fine. But sometimes the scale that you're looking for isn't there. For example, 1:200 wasn't in this list, I had to make it. So in order to do that, you come down to Custom, you go Add. I want to have 1:500, so that's the title of the drawing scale, and then 1 paper unit equals 500 drawing units, and now that's been added to my list, and I can use that if I want to. So for example, highlight the window space, change it to 1:500, and it's going to scale the drawing for me. Happy days. Now sometimes when you double click inside the paper space and you zoom in and around, it might look like it's back to where it wanted to be, but you'll find that it really isn't. So if you highlight the edge of the page again and go back to 1:200, and we're all happy, we can scroll, pan, beautiful. So now I can see that it's still back at to 1:200 and everything's all happy. Now sometimes when you're zooming in on your layout space, you might double click inside here in order to change something for some unknown reason, and then you might get stuck inside this paper space and you can't figure out how to get back out to the sheet. Now all you need to do if you get stuck like this is to press PS space, and that'll take you back to paper space, and now you're back out into this drawing area so that you can figure everything out. So zoom back into here, get it roughly in the right spot, zoom, 1:200, scroll, pan it in, done. Happy days. Awesome. Okay, so that's it for the drawing session today. If you have any further questions, please come along to the Collaborate sessions on Monday, Tuesday and Thursday, and we'll have a chat about AutoCAD and what we can help you to do. Sometimes we can answer the questions straight away on the tutorial session, so if you're in a particular hurry, it's good to get along there and ask them. Otherwise, I'm very happy to make these videos for you guys and make AutoCAD and the course a little bit easier for you. I hope to see you at the tutorial sessions. Have fun with AutoCAD. Good luck, guys. Cheers.